homicidal violence. In other words, someone murdered them.
Who killed her, and I knew who did it, and I know why. Okay, bye.
Now he's trying to taunt Final Notice Investigative Services Group.
During February, police dug up 11 sets of skeletal remains at the site.
News 13 has learned a tag for a tree bought at an Albuquerque nursery was among the few pieces of physical evidence.
To date, we have received close to 1,200 tips on these cases.
We continue to get tips, about 20 or 30 a year now.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Skylar, and today we're going to be talking about something deeply personal and profoundly impactful in my life. This is going to be the story of my mother and the tragic fate that she had to endure in one of the most prolific serial killer cases in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
The biggest murder investigation
of the largest crime scenes in history in an enormous endeavor for the police.
Sometimes labeled as the West Mesa Bone Collector case. I want to discuss the intricacies of the case and the impacts that it has had on me and my family bond. For those of you that may not be familiar, the West Mesa Bone Collector case was a series of murders that occurred more than a decade ago.
It has been 13 years since the West Mesa murder case.
It's a very somber day in our city's history. It's been 15 years since bodies of 11 women and one unborn baby were discovered on Albuquerque's West Mesa.
In 2009, a woman walking her dog came across a human bone. After she found the bone, she called the police, and that led to the uncovering of 11 bodies and an unborn child in shallow graves. After all this time, the case remains open, and there are no definitive suspects or arrests that have been made.
To this day, the West Mesa killer has never been identified or arrested.
Still no arrests have been made.
Police say they still do not have a prime suspect in this case.
My mother wasn't just a victim. She was a beloved family member. She was a woman who left behind 5 children, a mother who cherished her, and a cousin whose bond was so deep that even she wanted nothing more than justice. Before I even had the chance to meet my mom, I knew she was out there, like a missing piece of my puzzle. Being adopted was not easy, especially knowing that there was some sort of emptiness in my life. My mother, Veronica Romero, vanished on Valentine's Day in 2004. A day meant for love, for celebration, actually turned into one of the darkest chapters in my life. Every year as February approaches, that pain intensifies. This time of year can hurt the most because I'm constantly being reminded of the void that her absence has left me. The memories become way more vivid. Everywhere I go, there's Valentine's celebrations, there's roses being given, there's bears everywhere. I know that she didn't get the chance to become the parent that she wanted to be. She didn't get the chance to be a confidant, a best friend for me even. A memory that comes up whenever I think about this is that when I became old enough to actually start wondering about my mom and asking questions, I was about like 9 years old. I was old enough to be able to garner the hope of being able to meet her one day. But as a child, I frequently watched the news with my adoptive mother. They had found the bodies, and they had been digging them up for a while, and there was like suspicion that my mother could have been one of those victims, but they had just begun to start identifying them, and suddenly there she was with her name and the very first picture I'd ever seen of my mom, alongside all of these other women whose lives were taken in such a senseless and brutal manner.
Forensic scientists have now identified 2 more of the 11 women found buried on the Albuquerque West Mesa.
Victoria Chavez, Michelle Valdez and her unborn child, Cinnamon Elks, Julianne Nieto, Doreen Marquez, Monica Candelaria, and Veronica Romero. Those are the identified
A
victims.
single bone found on the West Mesa. When the digging was done, the remains of 11 women were found.
I didn't really think anything of it. I was young still. I didn't really get what was going on, but I was old enough to want to meet my mom. You know what I mean? That's something I grapple with every day. It's a pain that truly never goes away. I think about it, it's a memory that's vivid to me, and I can't escape that. And although the West Mesa mystery shook our community to its core, robbed innocent lives of their futures, my mother's story doesn't end there, and none of their stories do. As I navigated the aftermath, and as I still navigate the aftermath of this tragedy, one of the greatest challenges that I've had to deal with has been the portrayal of my mother's story by other people. Many YouTubers and true crime podcasts have explored this case, but oftentimes they skip over her specifically, not knowing about her life beyond the headlines.
Veronica Romero. Veronica was 28 years old when she disappeared. Her family reported her missing when she was 27. Veronica had 5 children at the time of her disappearance. Police believe she was killed sometime between 2004 and 2005. Such a sad loss of so many lives.
Romero was 27 years old when she was reported missing by family on Valentine's Day 2004. She was said to be last seen not long before that getting into a white pickup truck, and they never heard from her again. But Veronica was just an outgoing, normal girl who got caught up in a dangerous lifestyle that could happen to the best of us. They got caught up in that lifestyle, but they're still human beings, Somebody's mother, somebody's daughter, somebody's sister. Her cousin said this whilst the police were still digging up bodies in the West Mesa, the family wondering if Veronica could have been one of the victims. Turns out she was. The next identification was...
It's been very difficult to witness the sensationalism surrounding my mother's death. There's a plethora of theories out there.
Lorenzo Montoya.
Mercy Escort Services owner Fred Reynolds.
Private investigator received a chilling message from a man who claims he is the West Mesa killer.
Convicted serial killer and former FBI informant Scott Lee Kimball.
The name Joseph Blea has never been revealed by police.
Robert Howard Bruce, nicknamed the Ether Man.
The same man sent him an email and left several messages last year claiming to be the West Mesa killer.
A business owner named Ron Irwin.
And now investigators are saying there are more suspects than they originally thought.
Those theories only scratch the surface of the pain and the loss experienced by the victims and our families. What's even harder to bear, besides the sensationalism, is the plethora of people who have entered my life trying to get close to me, but out of sympathy rather than genuine empathy. I became a notch in people's good deed belt, a trophy for their relationship with me. I became a talking point in some scenarios. Dealing with these intrusions and speculation and superficiality of sympathy, it's added another layer of difficulties in my journey of healing and grief. It's a reminder of the importance of empathy, of truly understanding and honoring someone's pain instead of exploiting it for your own personal gain.
Walker's involvement in this case is not without controversy. He claims he's reached out to the families of West Mesa victims offering his help, but the families tell us he has never contacted any of them.
Another part of this pain is the rift that it has created in my familial relationships. It became a web, a tangled web of anger and grief and unresolved emotions. It's been difficult to reconcile the fact that not all of us siblings grew up together. But the shared experience that we do have together is marked by pain and longing, absence, instead of being bonded by love. My cousin Desiree's relentless pursuit of justice unfortunately came to an abrupt end. She didn't get to live long enough to see the conclusion, leaving behind a void in not only her children and grandchildren, but in our hearts as well. There is a yearning for closure that remains unfulfilled, and it is sadly not something that is unfamiliar in cold cases. But despite our distance and our discord, we all have a bond that transcends time and circumstances. It's a reminder in our darkest moments that we are not alone. Honoring my mother's memory has now become the next mission for me. I refuse to let her be defined solely by the devastation of her death. So I have decided to strive to honor her memory by living a life that would make her proud. By cleaning up my surroundings, dropping my vices, eating healthier. For me, it's about turning my pain into purpose, my sorrow into strength. I personally want to embrace every opportunity for growth and fulfillment. It's about channeling the life and the love that she had left with us and sharing it with the world. This channel is not just about bettering my life for my health problems, but also for her. Like I said before, she wasn't just a victim, she was a beloved individual who touched the lives of many people, even in her death. Every day for me is a journey of healing, forgiveness, and understanding. It's about giving life to the memories of those we lost and cherishing the connections that still remain. To anyone out there who has endured the pain of the loss, the intrusion of sensationalism, and you've survived the complex familial relationships, I just want you to know that you really are not alone. Together, we can navigate the depths of grief with compassion and grace, and we can find solace in the bond that unites us. As I conclude this video, I want to express my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you that has taken the time to listen. Sharing these deeply personal experiences is never easy for me, but I want to thank you for allowing me to lean on you for support. And to the other families out there, including my own, I want you to know that you are loved and that they are not forgotten. Until next time, take care of yourselves and cherish the moments that truly matter.